Hey, it's Goldeneye Remastered. Now this version is not ever gonna come out. Look at the improvements they made with the character design. 1996 to 2020. So they did a great job with the character design. You can see the characters look much improved. And we're gonna just look at some of the most impressive things they've changed from the original game to the remake or the remastered. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get to play this, but this is what it looks like. This is level 1, they call it the Dam. You're in the USSR. And look at the detail they added to the environment, the textures for the mountain, the ground. Right, it's classic 007. And one of my favorite things to do in the original game was break glass. That's a lot of fun to do as well. You can see they demoed a sniper rifle. And here, 007 is walking along the dam. And he's making the leap. So you can see the cinematics have also improved. Everyone's favorite level, the facility. Remember, you have to crawl through this duct, and then you have to crawl out through the bathroom. Now, this is from the original footage of the film.
Beg your pardon? Forgot to knock.
Nice. So he slips in the restroom after hanging upside down. But in the game, you just jump down and go to town. So you can open up all the stalls. You'll notice the textures in the bathrooms, the walls, even the assets like the toilets, the doors. They all look much improved, especially this hallway. Now that hallway's like a bloodbath, right, in multiplayer. Who can forget about our favorite item from the game? Remote mines. There's Alec Trevlin. Fate.
Set time is 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Check.
So this is from the film as well. 006, 007. As you are probably aware, 006 gets captured. And so instead of giving yourself up too, you fulfill the mission and leave. You leave your friend behind. Yeah, that's kind of the intro to the game. You can see a big improvement with the graphics. Even in this level, where you're escaping the facility. You get to commandeer one of my favorite additions to the game. A big old tank. And you can drive the tank in 2 missions in Goldeneye. This being one of them. And I think it's actually more fun to guide the tank in this level. Because it's bright, it's daylight, and you can really take advantage of the scenery. There's the tank, they found it. Side of the base. It's kind of funny though, with the tank, you can drive with your left hand, and then your right hand deploys all the artillery and the explosive shells. And you can take the driving route as well. You can take out enemies just by plowing over them. But they've preserved all the amazing GoldenEye sound effects, screams, the ammunition, the reloads, all of those were preserved. They didn't mess with those. And he's off. He escaped. Who can forget the memorable soundtrack here in Siberia? So you can see they really upped their game with the remastered graphics in this level as well. The trees look amazing. The snowy mountains look great. Very impressive. This is one of my favorite soundtracks from the game. Here you play in Siberia as well. You infiltrate this facility. And one of the funnest things to do in these types of levels is to work around the security or the surveillance. You can see they're taking a peek here to take out the camera. And for some reason, they fill all the cameras with explosive gasoline. I swear, every computer and camera in this game, they explode when you shoot them, which is quite silly. Here's the silo level you probably remember. Now there's one little glitch here when they look at the silo, it kind of disappears from view. You'll see what I mean. Come on, 007, show us the silo. Magic trick, it's gone, and it's there again. So there's still some bugs and glitches they didn't work out. But overall, it's classic Bond. It's chasing the enemy right here. And who can forget the way you can just collide with people and run through them? Oh, man. like a bunch of ducks in a row, isn't it? Here's what I mean by the explosive computers. It's like everything's been laced with explosive powder. There they go. And of course, who can forget the elevator music? Well, you have to actually be done with the cutscene to listen to it. There they go, all the computers. Combustible products. Here's the bow. You can also take in all the nice graphical improvements they've made in this level as well. And this was the unique level in James Bond. There weren't very many levels where you rescue hostages. This was one of them. You have to eliminate the baddies, and the hostages can walk free. And this gun also wasn't used very much in the levels, but it's really cool because it's a silenced automatic. Back in Siberia for round 2, but this time you're the prisoner. And you get some weird gizmo watch that can magnetize the key into your hand. So she talks with her cellmate. This is where you meet one of the other major characters. And this is where the game gets a little silly, because you magnetize your escape with the key, and then you go karate chop people and throw knives at every single guard that's in the room or the facility. So this is one of the unique knife levels in the game where you just get to slice and dice your way through, and they've added a Stalin picture there on the TV. There they are. Oh, he's going knife happy with the guards. And it's really silly they don't just shoot through the door. The doors are like made out of bulletproof armor or something. Now this right here is probably the worst level in the original and in the remastered version. You can't see anything. The whole place is like black, like fog. Probably one of the weakest levels in the entire game. And you find some unconscious Natalia sitting next to a helicopter, and she decides to wake up when you arrive. You run away, you defeat the baddies, and then there's an explosion in the distance. But again, you get captured. And this is one of my favorite scenes from the actual film. Uh-oh, we're kept prisoner again. And we shoot our way out. So you can see all the physics, mechanics are still there. The classic, all the baddies lining up in a hallway action is still here. It's like a game of peekaboo in this game. I forgot about this. 24 years later, and it's still as fun to watch as ever. Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Remember how you get stuck on the stairs with like 20 enemies? And apparently bullets don't work over railings or through railings. It's almost like glorified paintball mode. So you get out of that and you find this tank. Bullets don't go through the fence. So that's still something they haven't adjusted. Now here's the second tank level. And they have kind of trouble, the characters in the game, creating a roadblock. So it would have been nice to see the game designers create a more effective roadblock, because you just plow right through the people and these little barricades. You can see we're taking some hits to the body armor, and we squish someone with our big, nasty tank. Oh, okay, this is the next mission. Don't really understand what this has to do with the film. I think this was just created for the game. And then the train level was a favorite of everybody's. You have to play a game of peekaboo with all of the guards on the train. Then eventually you get to dual wield 2 automatic weapons, and you just make quick work of the enemies. You gotta eliminate the brakes. Yeah, those explode too. This looks like a bulletproof room with the padded walls. Oh, and the enemies that wear blue hats, they're like the elite soldiers that get the privilege of 2 weapons. Oh, the boss, you took out one of the bosses, and now you get to use your laser watch. Let's compare this watch with the actual one from the film. Check it out. So his is actually a laser attached to a pistol. But in the game, the laser is attached to your watch, which is quite interesting. And she kind of flips off the keyboard as she hacks, right, the position of the satellite. She kind of like pounds on the keyboard with her fists. They don't even have fingers. And the train blows up. Now, this level's quite interesting. Here in this level, it's the jungle, and it's also a little dark, just like the Petersburg cemetery. You can see even the plane blows up after you've crashed. But they did a good job of making the plant life look more real. And then there's a boss, right? You have to defeat Xenia here. But if you have the AR assault rifle equipped, you make real quick work of the boss. So she's pretty easy. Now this was one of the most difficult levels in the double agent mode, because there's a bunch of guards that spawn to take out that girl, Natalia. So you have to protect her while she does her little hacking experiment with these computers. She goes to this terminal, and while she's working there, you have to defend her. And this gave a lot of people lots of grief and nightmares. Because beating this level on a higher difficulty was really tough. They all get like assault rifles, and you get a dinky PP7 pistol. But eventually you make your way down to the basement. And these doors were definitely what inspired Metroid Prime. They almost look like the doors from Super Metroid, the way they open and close. And more exploding computers. Why not, right? Now, this is an issue I have with the game. You're chasing Alec Trevlin throughout the entire level, right? Because he's the bad guy and you need to take him down. But did you guys know in the actual film, the roles are reversed? He's hunting you. So, in the film, Alec Trevlin hunts James Bond, but in the game, you're like chasing him. It's quite funny. Here, you'll get to see it for firsthand. So here's the baddie, 006. He's after us, right? James Bond. He comes at you with an assault weapon. You're just running for your life, right? Jumping around, taking cover. Eventually finds out he runs out of bullets, so he ditches the gun. Now, I think the game would have been much better had the roles been reversed and had you been running away from Trevlin and maybe equipping remote mines throughout the level. Would have been a much better use of the cradle. But it is what it is, right? You can see the entire time in the film you're running from Trevlin. The entire time he's like pursuing you. He's kicking you, he's launching you, he's beating you, he's crushing your hands. Man, he dominates James Bond in the film. So he really is the better agent. But a lapse in judgment, he makes one mistake and woo, he falls off the cradle. Similar to the game. They do have him fall in the game though. But you pursue him, right? Exploding computers everywhere. And this is a cheap shot. You can shoot through the railing, which normally is a glitch in the game. Enemies cannot shoot through railings and fences. But you can exploit that in this level. But look, he kind of just floats down and you're like, hey, where'd you go? And then he disappears. What? And then he suddenly spawns again with an assault rifle? What? So that was a big glitch that they still haven't fixed in Goldeneye. But he just hammers him with the slappers only. Okay. For England, James? No, for me. And then in the movie he falls, but in the game he just kind of falls down on the platform. And you leap to safety. So that's kind of the main campaign of Goldeneye. But if you remember, 24 years ago they added bonus levels if you beat the game on different difficulty settings. And one of the levels you unlock is here, from the James Bond film, Moonraker, I believe. Which means there's also a big villain and baddie in the name of Jaws. And you have to go find him in these kind of caves. I think you'll find him by turning here and turning around the corner, he'll be right there with dual assault rifles. This guy's a boss. Now you need to be careful because if you don't get rid of him quick, he'll take you out. Now they're now equipped with the Moonraker Elite laser, which is really cool. And it's unique to that movie. So I think we're about to get in the rocket and blast off to space. Now here's the other bonus level. It has Baron Samedi. Okay, and I forget the name of this film. It's, I think, The Man with the Golden Gun is the name of this film. But you go through this temple and it's kind of a game of hide and seek. You have to find the boss, but you don't want to find him until you have the golden gun. So that's the first thing we go find, by going through this little mazy corridor. And you have to walk along these little steps and tiles in an exact sequence, or otherwise it triggers all these sentry guns and they take you out. So pick up the golden gun right here, and now you can go fight the boss. But you can see the remastered version did a terrific work with the textures. The walls look great, the columns, the floors. The shadows are still there, but they have added a little bit of lighting. And the character design, as you'll see the boss, look pretty good. He looks like the Phantom of the Opera. He has a mask on one half of his face, and then he has just skin on the other side. And who can forget James Bond isn't a Bond film or game without an evil villain and his laugh. So I hope you enjoyed this gameplay of the remastered Goldeneye. It would be really fun if we could play it, but for now we can just watch it. I'll see you next time.